Was one of the best days of Thomas Markle's life as he finally got to meet his third child, Meghan. A dedicated and loving father, Thomas helped inspire his young daughter's Hollywood ambitions by inviting her on TV sets, where he worked as an Emmy Award-winning lighting director and, by Meghan's own admission, helped her navigate her biracial activity.
It's a revelation from Meghan Markle's father. He's released a personal letter she wrote him after marrying Prince Harry, which says her heart has been broken into a million pieces. Eva Pilgrim here with the details. Hey, Eva.
As he turns 80 next month, Thomas Markle gives a moving interview to the Mail newspaper saying, "I've never been one for birthdays, but I know the one person I most want to hear from, Meghan, will not be in touch. I'd love to meet my grandchildren," he said, "but I'd be happy with a photograph at this stage."
It really happened so fast. In 2016, she posted on Instagram that her daddy was the greatest in the world. And the other thing is that she claimed that she had made everything herself and she came from a very poor family. Actually, she had a very privileged childhood, being sent to private schools in California. And of course, her father, he was the one who set her off on her career in Hollywood. It wasn't all done by herself.
Well, Meghan Markle's father is back in the headlines after he announced he is making a documentary about his daughter. The film will include never-before-seen footage and photos of her childhood.
Thomas Markle has broken his silence, dropping stunning secrets.
It was supposed to be a bond that could never be broken. A father and daughter united by years of love, sacrifice, and shared dreams. But today, Thomas Markle, the father of Duchess Meghan Markle, says he's completely shut out of his daughter's life. And now, at 80 years old, he's no longer staying silent. With tears in his eyes and decades of memories behind him, Thomas is revealing the emotional and shocking secrets he says the world deserves to hear. Once upon a time, Meghan called her father the best daddy in the world. She'd even post heartfelt messages on social media praising him for always being there. But in a stunning turn of events, that love has turned to complete silence. Thomas says Meghan hasn't spoken to him in years. He's never even met his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. In fact, he claims he'd settle for a simple photograph of them at this point. That's how far the distance has grown.
Well, it's believed the Duchess of Sussex hasn't spoken with her father since the wedding, fearing that he'll leak their conversations to the media.
While the purpose of Meghan's letter was very much to repair the relationship with her father, she knew in her heart of hearts that this was going to be released to the papers. Thomas has a record of this. This is exactly the man that she knows. And so many of those things in that letter were written with the public in mind. She very much wanted to set the record straight.
Meghan lived with me from the 6th grade to high school, and I never saw anything like that with her. And well, also college, we get along fine then too as well.
The heartbreak runs deep. In a recent interview, Thomas opened up about a private letter Meghan wrote after marrying Prince Harry. The words in that letter, while appearing loving, hinted at a fracture that had already begun. He says Meghan's letter was written with the public in mind, almost as if she expected it to be leaked, and perhaps even wanted it to be. But why now? Why is Thomas Markle speaking out so forcefully after years of relative silence? According to him, it's not just about his pain as a father, it's about truth. Thomas is preparing to release a documentary filled with never-before-seen footage and photos of Meghan's childhood. And what he claims in that documentary could challenge everything the public thinks it knows about the Duchess of Sussex. Thomas says Meghan's narrative of growing up poor and struggling is simply not true. He insists she was raised in comfort, sent to private schools, and lived in well-maintained homes. He was a successful Emmy-winning lighting director in Hollywood who made sure his daughter never wanted for anything. He even took her to TV sets and introduced her to people who would later help launch her acting career.
Thomas Markle is really disputing some of the stories that Meghan's been offering up about the childhood, and obviously unhappy that she's now ditching the family name. I mean, she's basically ditched the family years ago, but now the family name has gone as well. This is Thomas Markle Jr.
What happened to my baby girl? Meghan and her father Thomas infamously had a fallout before her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry, and it seems Thomas is really capitalising on his daughter's royal fame.
He helped her to get into her acting career. He was a quite distinguished and well-respected lighting engineer in television.
In that situation, because if it wasn't for my dad, Meghan would not be where she's at today at all. And she could at least give him some common courtesy. And
one of the most striking claims Thomas makes is about Meghan's portrayal of her past in her Netflix series. In one scene, Meghan is shown preparing budget meals and speaking about financial hardships. Thomas flatly denies any of that was real. He says Meghan never once had to worry about money or food growing up. In fact, he says she dined at upscale restaurants and had all the comforts a child could ask for. To Thomas, the cooking scenes aren't just entertainment, they're deception. He believes Meghan is acting, creating a version of herself that didn't exist. A self-made woman who overcame adversity, a survivor of hardship. But he says that woman is a character, not the real Meghan. And that's what hurts him most, that she's erased his role in her story. Thomas also claims he worked multiple jobs to ensure Meghan could attend private school. He says her education and career were made possible by his sacrifices, not by her overcoming poverty or struggle. And yet, when he watches her now, particularly in her Netflix appearances, he sees someone who's left all that behind, and all of them behind too.
Good morning. It's a sad story. More drama with Meghan and her dad. Just when you think it's going to calm down and there could be a chance of reconciliation, something else comes out.
The couple have not spoken to him since. Mr. Markle has never met his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. Speaking from his home in Rosarito, Mexico, just 250 miles from the Sussex's 16-bathroom home in Montecito, California, he remains puzzled that he's never met his son-in-law, asking the paper, why didn't Harry ever come to meet me?
It's not just Thomas feeling excluded. Meghan's half-siblings, Samantha and Thomas Markle Jr., are also speaking out. They describe a loving home where Meghan was taken care of, supported, and encouraged. Samantha Markle even claims that Meghan used their father to advance her career, only to cut ties once she became successful. Their accusations go further. They allege that Meghan has abandoned her family name and created a narrative that paints her as isolated and misunderstood. Thomas Jr. says he doesn't recognize the version of Meghan he sees in the media. He remembers a happy young girl, not the loner described in interviews and docuseries. The tension reportedly began long before the royal wedding. Thomas says Meghan distanced herself after becoming engaged to Prince Harry. He never met Harry, never got invited into their world. He describes trying to reach out countless times, through calls, texts, even letters, but receiving no reply. And the silence, he says, became unbearable.
No way of contacting him at all. The phone number that I called, it doesn't work anymore. I guess, liaison with the royal family never answers back, and there's no address I can write to, so I have no way of contacting my daughter. I would like my relationship with Meghan to be like father and daughter, like we've always been. My message would be, I love you, I miss you.
Thomas even claims that during the wedding planning, tabloids were tipped off in advance about his whereabouts. He believes some in Meghan's camp wanted to create drama. Headlines soon splashed across the world's newspapers. We found him. It was a moment that, for him, marked the beginning of the public fallout. Adding fuel to the fire, Thomas believes Meghan's decision to highlight certain narratives, like her cooking green waffles in a cheerful kitchen setting, aren't just innocent storytelling. He sees them as part of a larger act, an effort to seem relatable, humble, like an ordinary woman with an extraordinary rise. But to him, it's all carefully curated fiction. He's not the only one calling it a performance. Critics and media commentators have questioned the authenticity of Meghan's Netflix series and public speeches. They argue that while Meghan speaks about empowerment and strength, she also frames herself as a perpetual victim, someone wronged at every turn. For Thomas, it all comes back to one painful question. Why erase him? Why paint a picture of struggle when he was there every step of the way? He recalls planning her birthdays, attending school events, introducing her to mentors in Hollywood, and doing everything he could to help her succeed.
I love you, I miss you. I'm sorry for anything that went wrong. I just want to, and I want to be I'm certainly hoping that everything goes well and that they produce a beautiful baby, and I'll get to see a little Meghan or a little Harry.
He's also hurt by how she left her old life behind so completely. Not just her family, but even her last name. To him, becoming the Duchess of Sussex didn't just mean entering royalty, it meant closing the door on the past. A past he was a major part of, but which now feels completely erased. And yet, despite everything, Thomas says he still loves his daughter. He still hopes for reconciliation. "I love you. I miss you," he says, in a message aimed directly at Meghan. He wants to be a grandfather, even if it means just seeing a photo of Archie or Lilibet one day. His documentary, according to insiders, won't just be a personal account. It will be filled with old videos, letters, and never-seen-before moments meant to challenge the official narrative. It will show Meghan's early years from his point of view, one he believes the world hasn't yet seen. Meanwhile, Meghan has remained publicly silent. She has not responded to her father's claims, nor has she commented on the upcoming documentary. Her silence, however, has only fueled speculation. Is she protecting her peace? Or is there something more she's trying to avoid confronting?
For over a year, the UK tabloids were trying to find my dad, offering people so much money to try to find his address. Once they did, I remember being told there was a huge headline like, "We found him," or "We've got him." You're talking about someone's father.
I think it just, took a big toll on my dad when she was really independent and she didn't need him anymore. And I think that's her major falling out, that and money, I think he was probably expecting quite a bit of money back from her.
Now, let's talk about Thomas Markle, of course, Meghan Markle's father. He's basically shut out, obviously, of her life because, yes, he said a few things behind her back, but in some ways he's doing that because she won't talk to him, because the presumption is that he's just not impressive enough. And now he's doubling down that he'd like to see his grandkids.
The public is deeply divided. Some believe Thomas is a bitter father, seeking attention and cashing in on his daughter's fame. Others view him as a heartbroken parent, shut out unfairly and watching from afar as his child rewrites the past. The truth may lie somewhere in between. The media storm continues. Every new statement from Thomas Markle becomes a headline. Every moment of Meghan's new Netflix series is scrutinized. Analysts, fans, and critics alike are all asking the same question: what really happened between Meghan and her father? As this family drama plays out in public, one thing is clear. This isn't just about waffles, fame, or the royal family. It's about a father who feels abandoned, a daughter who chose silence, and a story that keeps unfolding before the eyes of the entire world. Thomas says he still has hope. He prays for a day when he and Meghan can sit down, speak honestly, and find a way back to each other. But until then, he wants his truth out there. He wants people to know that he was there, that he tried, and that he hasn't forgotten the little girl who once called him the best daddy in the world. Whether you believe Thomas Markle is seeking redemption, revenge, or simply release, one thing is undeniable. He has reopened a conversation that Meghan has tried hard to close. The documentary is coming, and with it, a new wave of questions, revelations, and painful reflections. This family story is no longer just theirs. It's become part of a global conversation about truth, fame, and the cost of cutting ties. And while Meghan continues to shine in the spotlight, her father's shadow looms larger than ever. Thank you for watching HushBuzzz, where the drama never sleeps and the tea is always piping hot. If you want to stay in the loop with stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that bell so you never miss a moment of the royal mess. We'll be back with more secrets, scandals, and stories you won't want to miss.